We're going to change things up yet again, and now Robbie and I are going to interview a retired couple, Mark and Lori. If you watch the channel, you know we've already done them individually. Now we're going to see how it goes when we talk about couple stuff. So stick around and see if what they have to say relates to what you're going through or what you think you're going to go through. We're going to change things up a little this time, and Robbie and I are going to interview another couple, Mark and Lori. We're not retired yet. They are. They're trying to convince us to join them in retirement, but we've got questions. So we're going to get some of them answered today. Hopefully you'll like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll get more of our content when we release it going forward. But now let's get into this a little bit. So as we are thinking, really putting some serious thought into when we're going to retire, some of the questions that we have relate to how we're going to be as a couple in retirement. So we've heard that some couples struggle with all the togetherness, the sudden togetherness. So how are you guys finding that?
I don't think it's been as dramatic for us, because I think with my work schedule being what it was, and Mark and I had a lot of time together anyway, and then when he started working from home during COVID and after he retired from the Justice Department, we had a lot of time, and we kind of eased into that. So retirement hasn't been that much of a shock, and we're good friends. We like each other. So
yeah, it hasn't been bad at all. It's nice to have her around. I get breakfast made for me now. We have better schedules for that. It's
That's not going to happen with you.
It is nice, though. It's not all the time, but if it has to happen, or I'd like it to happen, she's usually very accommodating, makes me breakfast and stuff. But I have my place in my office in the basement where I retire to.
His lair.
She calls it my lair. So it's nice. I have a television. I have my computer stuff there. So if I want to watch a little TV, I can. Or if I want to get on and work a little bit, I also volunteer my time to a computer training organization as well. So that takes some of my time. And I then come upstairs, and she's happy. She's doing what she likes doing best, which is watching old Westerns, which she does every day now. She has found the channel on the air, that's not even on a subscription service, and it's called Outlaw, and she watches it all the time. So hasn't been bad.
Okay. So you would say, I guess some of the advice that we've seen is that you need to carve out time for yourself as individuals to kind of counterbalance all this sudden togetherness. You haven't found that's necessarily true?
No, I think that's true.
I absolutely think it's true.
Oh, okay.
I think that's true. We each have things we like to do. He likes to go out and fish. He likes to go out and play pickleball with, different people. I have breakfast with girlfriends. I get to see my daughter sometimes. So we each have our own things, and, I'll go out and run errands. Sometimes he'll even come with me. Depends on what it is. So
not very often.
but it does happen. So I think being retired, it's not like we have to carve out those spaces in our free time, in our very little free time, like it used to be. And it's easier to just get up and go and do what we want to do when we want to do it.
We've had friends that had that issue where the wife says, I just need to get him out of the house. He's got to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have our health, so we're able to both get out of the house and enjoy what we want to do.
So I do know, Lori, that prior to retirement, you guys did try the whole RV thing.
We did.
Thinking that maybe that was going to be something you were going to enjoy doing together in retirement, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you've gotten rid of your RV. So what was good about that? What was bad about that?
And did you guys both have the same opinion, or was it one you liked, one you didn't like, and it was just better to put it in the rear view?
No, I think we wanted to try it out before we retired, so that we kind of had an idea of which direction we wanted to go. And it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was fun. We had a lot of good times going out camping with friends and we took some big trips, and we had a ball. But it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And unless you're living in it full time, which I don't think I could ever do, there's, prepping for the trip, and then you go on the trip, and then you come home, and then it's unloading and unpacking, and all the aftermath. So it's a lot of work. And even though we had fun, I think we realized, or he realized, that he really wanted to be in one location and have the benefit of the lake and being able to just walk down to the boat, hop on the boat, and go fish for an hour if he wants to. So and I think we're more homebodies. We like to go on a vacation and come home and then have that experience.
Yeah, it was never going to be a full-time thing like some people do, where they travel around the country constantly in the RV. She always made it clear she wanted to have a home base. So winter times, yeah, she might be in Florida, but then it's going to be home base kind of thing.
Correct.
And what really was the kicker is there's just so much in a big RV that you have to do.
Take care
And
of.
it can't be one person doing it. It has to be both of you. And it was difficult as we got older physically and basically to do all those things and to make sure, there's that checklist you're going through. Did we lift this? Did we turn that on? Did we turn that off? And you realize you start forgetting things like that sooner or later. We had one incident, I won't even go into it, but it could have ended up in a much more expensive much more expensive output or outlay than I was willing to get into. And I realized at that time, we got to call it quits. This was fun, but it's not going to be where we want to go.
Right.
And that's where we ended up taking the second round and got the lake house.
All right. So you talked a little bit about the maybe what could have been a bigger financial impact if you'd have kept with the RVing, but in the financial area, did you guys get on the same page finance wise before you retired, or were you thinking? I mean, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, was there a difference of opinion in how much she thought we should be spending versus I?
Right.
Well, I think what helped us is that we have what we call our money man, our financial planner, that, for several years we've been working with him and meeting with him, on an annual basis. And so we had a really good idea of what the roadmap looked like for us. And where we were at and where we hoped to be and how things were trending. So that gave me a real feeling of security to know that, we were really pretty much squared away. We were on the right path.
Yeah, I'm kind of I do most of the money stuff within the family and stuff. And of course, keep her apprised of where we're at and stuff. But meeting with our money guy was very, very helpful. It also is one thing, she loves to travel. So I don't stop her. She went to Israel this year. Last year, 23. She went to Israel with a church group, and she had a wonderful time. I don't want to travel to Israel. I don't want to be on a plane that long. So as we move forward, I don't mind short trips here and there, but I definitely don't need to go to Paris, and I don't want to go all over the country traveling all the time. I'd rather be a homebody, like she says, but I don't want to keep her from doing that. So she gets with a girlfriend, or she gets with a church group, and she can still do those things.
You want to go with me?
Not to Israel, sorry.
Well, maybe not Israel right now.
It was
Right now.
It was wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. So between the two of you, who would you consider? Are you both like on the same page on finances, or is one of you, like Rich and I are very different in the sense that I tend to be watching everything. He tends to be, it's all good. We're good,
Big picture.
So right. So I mean,
Details.
Yeah. Do you guys or do you just let him? And I don't want to say that it's a trust issue because I trust Rich. That's not what it is. But do you?
It's a worry issue. It's worrying about
so
it.
So who worries? Yeah. Well, good. Same here.
There's no reason to worry. I mean, I've gotten this far in 41 years of marriage, and we've never gone bankrupt, and we've been fortunate never to live on a really structured budget, except for the first couple of years. It just has. She trusts me with the money, and I tell her where we're at, and she freaks out every now and then. I go, "We're fine." She goes, "Okay, I'll trust you." And we're fine. But has not been a big issue.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. We've never had money quarrels, money issues. It's never been.
Or every now and then where that MasterCard bill and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Or when she says, I say, is that a sweater? Oh, I've had that for decades. And, of course, she just bought it. That's what I tell her. Those kind of things. Marriage kind of things.
Right. That doesn't change when you retire magically.
That continues.
Okay. All right. So as you were running up to retirement, were you talking about it with each other? Like, is it time? Or were you kind of making individual decisions? You were both working. So was it individual decisions or was it?
Was it an unspoken thing that you both thought about but never really communicated, or did you guys talk about it ahead of time?
No, we talked about it. I mean, we both, it's not an individual decision per se where
Right.
I'm like, and I just announced that, I'm retiring next month,
Right.
whether you want me to or not. It wasn't like that at all.
No, I mean, hers was made up. Her mind was made up for her. The department
Right,
said,
right.
"You got to go." I mean,
Right.
we've exhausted everything we can. You can't get back to work. We're done.
Right.
So hers.
Would
came-
you have stayed if they didn't say that? Were you ready?
I would have continued working as long as I could.
Okay.
So
Even though he was retired, you would have kept working.
as long as I could.
Oh, all right.
But I wasn't completely retired then, too. I was mostly retired, but I still have my own business, and I guess the retired comes in where I'm retired from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I have my own business, that's who I really retired from. Kroll was kind of an extra after retirement job for 2 years,
Right.
and now it's my own business where, again, I don't have to. I can work full time. I can make cold calls. I can call people all the time and get much more business than I have now. But we don't need that, nor do I want to be stressed and having to work 365 days a year. I love the work I do for my clients, and I'll continue to do that for now. But so it's a partial for me, and it's a full for her. But like this fall, it's been a slow fall, which usually happens in this industry, and it's kind of like being fully retired.
It's been nice.
I haven't disliked
It's
it
been
at all.
nice.
Okay.
It's been
So I kind of feel like when I decide to retire, I'm ready to be done working altogether. I feel like Robbie, she can't get her mind around not working. She may be able to get around it by volunteering more, but she can't get her mind around not, working in some form or another. So
Mhm.
Lori, are you just happy doing what you want all day, or are you thinking that there may be a time when, hey, I want to go have some structured, maybe not to make money, but more from a social standpoint as well?
It's always kind of in the back of my mind that, maybe something will come along, but I don't know that I'm going to actively go out and search for something. If
Mhm.
something falls in my lap, that would maybe be a different thing. But right now I'm still so busy trying to get settled in this new place and get
Mhm.
acclimated to that and get everything done that needs to be done that, that's what my focus is on right now.
Well, I kind of feel like maybe with us, you and I, Mark, maybe are a little more alike in the sense of work, because you, even though you are retired, you still have your own business. You're setting your own hours. You work when you want to, because you love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like I'm a lot like that as well. I love caring for people, and I don't know how to not care for people. And so, so there's a part of me that's like, I just want to know that I can go do something if I want to. Like, and maybe not that we have to financially or anything like that, but just knowing that option is out there.
Nurse.
Yes,
Right? So when you do work, is it 5 days a week?
Oh no, I don't want to work 5 days a week.
There you go.
Oh, no.
So you have some flexibility in
Yeah.
that part time, if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
use that term.
Yeah,
3 days a week, 2 days of work, whatever this week, but not next week, whatever happens
Right.
to be, which is nice, which is
Right.
what I have, and
Right.
that's kind of what I like doing. And if it was one of those things where I had to work because we needed the money,
right.
then I wouldn't be retired.
Right.
I'd be working full time, and I'd be dealing with that stuff. We're just fortunate enough to be
Right.
with her retirement, and then my U.S. Attorney retirement. I get insurance through the federal government, so
Yeah.
she doesn't have to pay for insurance on her side, and
Right.
it works out very well.
Well, and I think it's just kind of the perception of it, or my mind. If I'm not having to go to work, I'm retired. So if I'm
Mhm.
substituting as a school nurse, or if I'm somebody, you know what I mean, I'm filling in part-time somewhere. To me, that doesn't feel like I'm still working. It feels like I'm retired, but I'm choosing to go do this. Does that make sense?
Well, but that's the difference. You don't have to be anywhere for any length of time. You don't have that being dictated to you.
right,
I think that's the real difference. Yeah.
right, right,
It's your choice.
right. Yeah,
You're
And-
on your time.
And I could also throw this in: if Rich got retired and
Mhm.
you retired and Lori and I are already retired and we could play pickleball 3 days a week. Now think about this. I'm serious. 3 days, that's 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
We go to lunch afterwards or we have breakfast before. Great. We meet up. We still do the small groups once a week and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fulfilling. And you still get to do the things around the house that you want to do, the cleaning and the taking care. And you still get to do the podcast or the YouTube channel. And you still have your separate things. So
Right.
I think the big thing is as long as we don't mind the separate things we do, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
So it's when I don't have anything to do and I'm under her feet or she's under my feet and I have to do, that's when it's a problem. We have not encountered that at all.
Okay.
All right, you touched briefly on your situation with insurance. That's different than ours. That if I retire, we're going to have to pay for insurance out of our pocket for the rest of our life. Granted, we'll get Medicare eventually, but those probably supplemental on that thing. But that doesn't take into account like long-term care insurance. Have you done anything? Are you thinking about what it's going to look like if something, I don't want to say horrible, but if nature takes its course and you need more than just home care or care from your partner? Have you planned for that at all?
I mean, from an insurance standpoint?
Yeah.
We have, was it not disability insurance? It's
Long-term
long-term care.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that as part of our
You do?
insurance. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So that's with the company that you were with before.
Cross-
That's part of it.
Yeah, that's all. It's federal Blue Cross Blue Shield, so it's really good insurance.
Okay.
Anybody who's out there and likes to work for the federal government, 5 years, stay on. Good insurance at the end.
All right.
But asking you the same question, turning that around, I'm sure you being the money guy and you being the detail-oriented one, even though you have to take a different route, you have to find an Obamacare or whatever it happens to be insurance. You've already planned for that, right?
Yeah, we
That's
kind
part
of
of
we have an
built in.
idea. I mean, our financial guy has told us what we should plan for to pay for insurance. But I still think that all the planning that we do, we're still kind of rolling the dice, right? You don't really know whether, I mean, catastrophically, something happens and you're in the hospital for 12 weeks, like Robbie's dad just was. Nobody's really ready for that, right?
Yeah.
But at least your insurance is covered. But like, what if my concern is more like, well, with the prevalence of dementia and Alzheimer's these days.
Yeah. Well, and Rich always has said that he's going to live till he's 102.
Yeah.
He's going to
I'm
live.
glad you got a number there.
Yeah, he has always said, I'm going to live till I'm 102. I'm like, well, have fun with that because I'm going to be long gone. But, in a situation like that, obviously he's more than likely going to be in a long-term care facility, right? So, those are things that we have to think about too.
Boring things that if you're under 50,
You don't care about
you don't
this.
care about this. So
But you do have
But
to
Medicare
think.
is another thing too. I mean, I'm 64 in 6 months. I'll be less than 6 months. I'll be 65 and I get Medicare. So that's great. I mean, I won't give up my insurance, but that extra right there, we won't pay for a thing.
Right.
And you'll get there someday, young man.
way
Grasshopper.
behind you.
Young man. Well, now you've asked us, both of you have asked us, do you have any fears or anything going into retirement, things that you fear? Do you?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it in other videos. Like I'm a little concerned about the lack of social interaction. Like Robbie says, I can go into my office and I can sit at a computer and I can play computer games and I can do that. But it's not like it used to be. Like I could do that I could have probably done it for day after day for a week. Now, 12 hours in, I'm thinking, okay, I can't do this again tomorrow.
12 hours.
No, yeah, I don't know. I've never been in 12 hours in, but I could just, there's got to be like 3 hours in. I'm like, okay, it's not like it used to be.
Okay.
So, maybe the fear I have is I need to make sure I have friends like you who I can interact with. Because, I'm 59 and people that are my age are generally not retired yet. I don't know, thankfully or whatever, when we moved down to Kansas City, a lot of the people that I am friends with are folks that are more like in your shoes where you're already at least partially retired and I'll have options. But that's
we're
one
here
thing.
for your options. Just,
I got
just want to make sure we're here for you.
I got options. We're good. Yeah, I'm not at all worried about the money portion. Robbie is sometimes, so although she's getting better,
I am
the
getting
more
better.
Well,
I
it's
try to
scary.
convince her.
It's scary to think about retiring and not having that set amount of money coming in
Yes.
every 2 weeks or every month, and it's a little
Not if you
intimidating.
plan for it.
Well,
But
I
I think
know.
what it
that's
is
what,
though
that's
is
what we do. We worry.
That's right.
is you do have it. Like I know you're on a pension, and you
Yeah.
know that that's a guaranteed
Yeah.
income every month.
It is.
I've got a pension and a half basically that I'll have, so I know there's guaranteed income.
Mhm.
I'm not one of those guys that thinks Social Security is going to go away. I think there'll be some sort of a fix at some point. So I don't worry about it at all compared to her. And then add in what we've saved and what we have
Yeah.
put away in 401ks, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I don't worry about I more worry about am I going to get sick 3 weeks
Mhm.
after I retire, and then I'm never going to be able to do all the stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
Well,
So, and the longer I put off retirement, the more likely that's to happen.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
It's kind of funny you say that about. I didn't expect that, right? That you're going to go a different direction. But that was a question I put to Laura. I says, "What if I wanted to move to the lake more than she did?" And I had to do convincing. And at one point, I said, "We're not moving. You don't want to do this." And then she came back and says, "Okay, this is. I want you to have what you want. And I'm ready to do this." And we made a decision as a couple. But I said, "But what happens if I die like a week after I get there?" And she said, "The one thing that makes more sense. You don't know when you're going to die. We
Right.
don't know the future. You can't live your life by worrying about the future." And I know that sounds very contrite, almost like I got it off a meme. But the fact is, that is true. I mean, if we thought about that, we'd never do anything.
well, and you can't plan for every single, scenario. I mean,
Right.
it's
Right.
you can only do so much.
We have
So-
we have God and Jesus in our heart, and
Yes.
we know if we do die, we know where we're going. And other than that, we're not going to worry about it.
Right. I love
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay, so there's been a conversation with us and Mark and Lori, giving us some insight. I mean, we've had these conversations because we are friends. We've had these conversations already. What are we missing? Like, leave it in our comments. What are we not thinking about? What are Mark and Lori missing? I mean, they've only been retired together for a year and a half at this point.
Do you wanna know?
Robbie and I are looking at it coming up soon. What are some things that you've seen that we haven't talked about that are going to jump up and bite us if we don't think about it? Or are we on the right track? Let us know in the comments. And as always, we want to thank you for watching the channel, and we hope you're getting something out of it. Thanks for watching. God bless.
Good night.